Okay, I had a request uh, to show a tutorial of how to put together the reactor. And so here it is. I tried doing this earlier, and I tried seeing how many uranium it could put in, and how little ice, and apparently 6 is the minimum. 5, it starts smoking continuously, and when I put down to 1 stack, even if it was a stack of 64, it, well, this is what happened here. um, uh, anyway, so for 5 chambers, you need 6 uh, stacks of ice. I think it can only pull like 1 or 2 things of ice per stack per cycle or something. So that's why. Um, but I think the way you tell it, if you fill up the entire chamber with ice, and then gradually add the uranium 1 cell at a time, you can see how many stacks are losing ice as it's running. Now, for like 1 stack, it's probably going to lose 1 stack of ice for like when you only have a few uranium cells in it, and the more uranium cells you have in, the more ice you need. So you might want to start with the ice and then add the uranium as you go. Anyway, for this one, you need an energy condenser, a block of ice. I'm going to use a Mark II collector. A Mark I might work for fewer uranium cells, but if you want to be really safe, use a Mark II. Glowstone, so it'll run this will run continuously. Pneumatic tube. Nuclear reactor. I mean, that's obvious right there. And the reactor chambers. I mean, you could just do this with a single core, just a core, but if you assume you want to get the most power out of it as you can, chambers there. A high voltage transformer, because once you get so many in there, it'll blow up your MFSUs without it. Glass fiber cable to send out the power. An MFSU or few to store it. 2 red alloy wires, a lever, a filter, and a timer. Okay. Daylight, please. Okay. First step, place the condenser and put the ice in it. You want to do this first so that no energy is wasted from the collector, and when you place it next to it, it'll start building up ice. We're going to need some ice later, so start building it up now. That's why we want to do this first. Then we put a tube. I'm doing it in this step because so I have something to place the reactor against. Otherwise, I'd have to put a block down here and break it afterwards, and which isn't a big deal really. But then you put the chambers on these sides, the remaining sides here. Right. I forgot to mention, to put the glowstone on top of that, you hold shift so you crouch like that. And if you're crouching when you place it, when you right click, instead of opening the interface, it'll place the block. That works for industrial craft machines. It works for equivalent exchange. I think it works for red power. I wish it worked for vanilla, so I could place something on the side of a furnace or something. That'd be neat. Anyway, crouch, place the transformer, but it's facing the wrong direction. So if you crouch and use the wrench, it'll change directions. Normally, when you click normally, it turns to face towards you, but if you shift click, it turns away from you. I learned that from Direwolf 22. So, as well as the placing things on the machine thing, I did not know that before, and it's really helpful. So that's why I'm noting it. Get the rest of my stuff here. Now, nice thing about placing it directly onto the reactor, you can put the wire on any of these 5 sides here. Then just place an MFSU, or however many you want. 1 will do for now. Okay, next step, crouch, place the redstone wire, place the lever, flip it on. This is the shut-off lever. Make sure it doesn't run, so that when we're putting the fuel in, hang on, I get uranium. It's not building up heat while you're doing that, because if you don't have any ice in there, it's gonna blow up. So you want to make sure it's shut off, and it has to be on the side. This wire has to be on the side of the reactor, otherwise it won't get the signal and it will blow up. Well, or it won't shut off anyway. If you have the ice in there, it will just run continuously, but since we don't have the ice in there yet, we want to make sure it's shut off. Okay, so just put however many uranium cells you want in there. I'm going to fill it up to the max. Alright. Ooh, perfect. Now, before I had something like this, but I found if I do this, I get an extra 20 EU. So you probably want to do that. And next step, we place a filter, like so. So it's facing this way. If it's not facing that way, you have to use a red power screwdriver to make it face that way. Then what we want to do is grab a stack of ice, dump it into here. So that'll grab a stack at a time. Next step, put the timer here and let it fill the remaining slots of ice. And then connect it to the shutoff. So now everything's set up and it's shut off. No power. So all that's left, turn it on. And you can see we're building a massive amount of power very quickly. It should start smoking occasionally. Alright, let me get the EU reader. By eliminating that high voltage cable I had here in the other video, placing it straight on there, we remove the 1 EU loss, and by placing these two next to each other instead of on opposite corners, we get an extra 20 EU, so we get a total of 1820 EU per tick, which is a huge amount. And you can see we're already like, almost 25% full, the MFSU. Oh, maybe it's, as you can see, it's grabbing it from 6 stacks here. Also, I usually have this set to 5 seconds, but I guess 2 seconds will work. Doesn't make much difference because it doesn't use the whole stack when it's going in there, so. I'm not sure. Maybe it recalculates when you put something in there. So maybe the more often you put it in there, the more. I don't know how the mechanics work. So anyway, there's your tutorial. I wish I had a thermometer thing so I could tell you how hot it's running. And this tutorial is running a lot longer than I thought. I thought I could get this done quickly, but anyway, there it is. That's all there is to it. Well, you gotta, if you want to do it legitimately, you gotta craft everything. But I'm not gonna show you all the recipes. That would take a while. So you can find them out on the these on the Equivalent Exchange wiki, these on the Red Power wiki, and these on the Industrial Craft wiki. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I can edit this back onto the end of the video. I did a little playing around, reorganizing the uranium, and it seems like you want to have 7 things of ice, because I used the bed. I slept a while with Somnia installed and everything, and it started smoking after a while. So I put an extra thing of ice in. It reduces the power output somewhat to 1790, but that's not a huge loss compared to considering how much power you're getting out of there. Let me just. Yeah, you see it's not smoking at all. When I had this one in there, well, it did start smoking after a while. So just to be on the safe side, go for 7. And that's full, so I'll turn it off. But yes, 7 things of ice to be safe. If you're running this and it starts smoking after a while, you want to keep an eye on it for a while after you build it. Add another take one of the uranium out, and so it can fill with a stack of ice. If you want to be safe, if you see any smoke, take one of them out. Okay, that should do it.